Hey Mad Makers! Today I'm going to show you how to make this flower card. I'm also going to show you how, if you don't want to make the card, you can make these cute little flowers that are separate. And then you can find a little tiny container, or you can make your own container and turn them into a teeny tiny flower base. Okay, let's get started. You're going to need your printout paper first. You can choose to print this on cardstock or some sort of a thick paper if you have it. Otherwise, regular computer paper will work just fine. So we're going to use the felt flower tracer on top here first, and then I will show you how you can use this bottom part later. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this bottom part off so I can set it aside so it's out of my way. And I'm going to go ahead and cut out my flower tracer here. You can cut right on the line, you can cut the line off. It's up to you how you want to cut this out. And sometimes it's helpful if you can cut the big chunk of paper away, because then it just makes it a little bit easier for you to finish cutting. Okay. All right, now my next step for my flowers is to decide what color I want my felt to be. So I think I'm going to start with a red flower first. So now that I have my paper tracer, I'm going to lay that on top of my felt, and I'm going to try to put it towards the edge so I can use as much, or have as much felt left over as possible. So just using some sort of marker, you're going to trace around your flower. Marker seems to work best. Pencil doesn't really show up very well. Okay. Set that aside. Now I can carefully cut out on my new marker line and cut out my felt flower here. Okay, now that my felt flower is cut out, I can decide if I want more flowers. So I think I'm gonna have a couple more. So for this step, you can either set your felt flower on, they kind of tend to stick, and you can cut around like this, or you can use your tracer again to trace your flower. I'm gonna try to cut this one like this, and let's see how that goes. How that looks. That looks pretty good. I think I'm going to do that for another one. Let's do a blue flower. Okay, so I think I'm going to stick with 3 flowers to start with. So my next step is to grab a piece of paper. Again, you can get, this is a little bit of a thicker paper. If you don't want a thicker paper, you can, or you don't have it, you can just use a piece of computer paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in half carefully. So I'm going to bend it over like this, line up these 2 edges, hang on to that with one hand, and then slide my finger here, and then down to either edges. And we'll get a nice folded card. All right, I think it's gonna be a little bit easier to work with opened up. So I'm gonna open it up, and I'm gonna know that this side is gonna be the front of my card. So my next step is to decide where I want to put my flowers on my card. So I'm just gonna lay them on here before I start gluing anything down. And I'm going to be adding some stems, some flower stems here. So you might want to lay those on too to make sure you have room, or to know where you think you want those to go. I think that looks pretty good. Move our stems out of the way. Okay, whoops. I'm going to add some glue to the back of my flower. Kind of in a little bit of a star shape there. I just want to get every little part. I'm going to put it back about where I had it. Just tap down gently. Okay. Add some glue to my other flowers. And gently tap down. Now I'm gonna decide what I want the middle of my flowers to look like. So I'm gonna grab my little puff balls over here and kind of start to lay out what ones I might want. That's kind of nice. I like that. All right, so we're gonna add a little dot of glue under our puff balls. Set them on there. Okay. Now I'm going to think about adding my stems, and I'm also going to decide if I want some grass. So if I want some grass, now's the time to think about that. You could do just a flat little bit of grass, or if you want some more realistic looking grass, I can kind of cut a little strip of this green to start with. And maybe I want it to not be super straight, so maybe I can make it a little wavy. Let's see if that'll fit. Very close. So I'll trim some of that off. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now if I want this to look a little bit more realistic, like grass, this is going to be my bottom side, so I can flip it over and I can carefully go through and snip some grass stalks. And I'm not going all the way because I don't want my little grass clippings to fall off. Okay, let's see how that looks. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that'll look really nice. Okay, so now that I know I want that, that's going to be the bottom of our card. So now I'm going to set that aside because we're going to glue that on last. And I'm going to think about my flowers here. So I know we want it to go far enough so it can fit under my grass. That should be pretty good. So you can make it straight, you can make it bend a little bit. I kind of like this as is. So I'm going to put some glue on my pipe cleaner. I'm going to line that up just where I want it and tap that down. Okay. Next one. I think this only needs to be about this long. So we'll cut that off. I think I want this one kind of bending a little bit too. Okay. Put some glue on my other pipe cleaner. Doesn't have to be a ton of glue, and it's better to actually, if you can just put just a tiny little bit on. If there's any big clumps, kind of spread them out. Tap that down. Okay. And the last one, right here. Clip this about right here. Add some more glue. Whoops, kind of a big blob of glue. So I'm going to just, instead of not adding any more glue, I'm just going to use the tip of my glue bottle to smear that glue around. So I don't have any big oozing blobs of glue. Okay. Okay. Now my next step is to glue my grass down. So this I want a pretty good amount of glue. And I think it's actually going to be better to add glue to our felt. So when I'm adding my glue to my felt here, I'm only going to put it on this bottom part, not the part that I cut, because we want that to be nice and free so it looks like grass. And if you can see, I'm kind of tapping as I go. Sometimes the glue doesn't come out super well, so this will help. And again, I can just use my glue bottle to make it a nice clean line so it's evenly spread out. Okay. Now I'm going to carefully glue this to the very bottom of my card. Get it all lined up on the bottom there. And there we go. Now, as my card is completely dry, I can go back and fluff up my grass a little bit more if you want to, but wait until your card's dry for that step. Okay. Now, if you can leave it like this. If you want some more details, you can use pipe cleaners to make some leaves. You just have to kind of create little kind of oval shapes like this. You can pinch them together, and those can be your leaves. You can also use the green felt to cut out a leaf shape. It's kind of like an oval shape, but it's pinched on the side. Kind of like the shape of an eye. All right. So you can decide, do you want felt leaves? Do you want pipe cleaner leaves? Do you want no leaves? I think I'll do a couple felt leaves. Yeah, I think that's nice. Okay, let's glue these down. Whoops, now that I've decided. Okay. Carefully tap on everything and make sure it's glued down really well. And you might notice lots of little fuzzes all over your card. That's because we've been doing a lot of trimming. As everything dries, you can go through and brush that off, or even you might even be able to just blow all those little fuzzes off. So the best thing you can do now is to set it aside and let it completely dry. As soon as your flower card is completely dry, then you can fold it in half again where that fold line is. You can fluff up your grass a little bit. Then you can open it up and you can write a great message on the inside. When you're finished with your card, you can cut this out and turn this into another card that you can color. So all you have to do is cut carefully along the line. Once you have that cut out, You're just gonna fold it, line up your edges like this, hold that still, draw a line to the edge and then to each edge. And then there you have a card. You can color this in, and then you can write another great message on the inside and give it to somebody that you know, or send it to somebody. If you don't want to put your flowers on a card, you can also make some flowers that look like this. So let me show you how. You just need a bit of green pipe cleaner. And if you want to make this leaf like this, you're just gonna choose kind of about where you want your leaf. You're gonna fold this over and you're gonna twist twice. And then you're gonna open this back up and pinch your little twist together to get a little bit of a leaf. If you want another leaf going the other way, fold this way, hold, twist, twist, and then straighten it back up. And this one went to the wrong side, so I'll just flip it like this and pinch it together. I can bend my leaves so they're facing upwards. Okay, and I think I want my stem about this long. All right, so now I'm gonna attach my flower. So to do that, I'm just gonna flip it over. I'm gonna put a little line of glue right along here. And then I'm gonna carefully set my stem right on that line of glue and press down. You don't want a ton of glue oozing out. There we go. And then I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna set it aside and let it dry. If you don't want any leaves on your stem and you just want a plain stem, all you have to do is put a little bit of glue like we did before and then lay just a straight pipe cleaner down without any of the bends in it for the leaves. So you can do it either way you want, and then no matter what, as soon as you're done gluing, you want to set it aside and let it dry. When it's completely dry, you can go back and you can adjust your stem, you can adjust your leaves, and then you can find a little container to put your flowers in. This is an old tiny little Tupperware container I found. And you can have a little vase, just like this. Or if you can't find a tiny little Tupperware container, I folded up a piece of paper and drew some lines on it, and I turned this into a little vase too. And I'll show you. I kind of stuck my flowers in like this. And there you have it. I hope you had fun today making these flower projects. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos to come.